What's up, YouTube? We are back for this time with something a little special, not just HD2. Recently, you've probably been noticing on the live streams on both YouTube and Twitch, we've been playing a lot of Marathon. I have about 25, 30 hours in Marathon at this point in the alpha, and I believe I just touched 25 or so hours in arcraiders. And I gotta say, they've been a ton of fun. I've been a huge fan of extraction shooters for quite a while. Hunt Showdown, a little bit of Tarkov, a lot of Cycle the Frontier, if you guys remember that. Shut down, unfortunately, some time ago. But great games, lots of awesome extraction shooters out there, and I love the genre in general. So I've been really enjoying playing both. And I've just been getting the question a lot, like, which one's better? What are your thoughts? And I just wanted to like kind of put it together in like a cumulative kind of video for you guys. And like break it down, the pros and cons of either game, because they do have pros and cons. I don't think it's necessarily a pro, like, you know, just Arc Raiders all the way, or necessarily like, you know, Marathon is dead kind of situation. Starting off, Marathon was the first game we played. It's very much an alpha in the sense that only half the factions were there. A lot of the weapons, I think there's like 6 to 7 weapons or so, were not actually in the game. We only had 2 out of the 3 launch maps in the game, with a 4th that I think is coming out soon after launch. So it very much felt like an alpha, in the sense that it was just like a slice of the game. It ran smooth. The gunplay was good, other than the aim assist on mouse and keyboards, but they removed that just this week, so they're listening. As far as like the game went, like it definitely felt like a PvP focused extraction shooter rather than really any other extraction shooter, which more or less focuses on like the slow intensities at time. Marathon sometimes felt like a more like faster paced, like Apex like extraction shooter, right? It almost felt like I was playing Apex at times with an extraction shooter shell around it, which is like not a complaint at all. Like it was really nice because like they had good gunplay. The PvE was not that annoying to deal with. You could revive your teammates if they were full dead, which not a lot of extraction shooters always do, or they have a mechanic where you completely stop them, like Hunt Showdown with burning bodies. Overall, the UI was extremely strong in Marathon. Although it didn't look the prettiest, it functioned very good. We're going to get to that for Arc Raiders a little bit afterwards. My thoughts overall on Marathon were positive, and I look forward to seeing the full game, because we definitely didn't play the full game. We played a portion of it, the early game to the start of the mid game, but like we didn't have any of the late game. They talk up the next maps to be like genre defining. We'll see if it's just talk from Bungie or if it's actually something legitimate that we have to consider. Getting into Arc Raiders, initially the biggest difference you're going to notice is this third person, and a third person extraction shooter on paper doesn't sound the best. And I was often very much concerned, and I was talking on stream about being concerned about it being a third-person extraction shooter. Third-person peeking is very much a thing, and it does slow down gameplay a lot at times, especially when you run into a team that knows how to use third-person peeking to their advantage. Like in this last round that we just had, we had a gunfight last for about 10 minutes or so because it was just third-person peeking. Neither team was close enough to throw nades. We tried to reposition. They third person peek us, so then we're not stuck behind cover, and then we're having to heal, and then we try to peek them, they're peeking us, we're just like going back and forth. We eventually got them, but like it took forever because every time we try to be aggressive, they just have so many answers to punish us because they can pre-fire us and have that peeker's advantage in that respect every single time. So that being said, though, the rest of the game is fucking phenomenal. Probably one of the best extraction shooters I've ever played as far as atmosphere, sound. Progression is quite strong. It's got some weird quests here and there that sometimes feel a little bit like you had to kill a fireball with one of their parts that they drop, but it's like kind of obnoxious to kill. You eventually just like weaken one and then throw it at it, but it's like, it's a weird quest and it's kind of unnecessarily awkward. But the looting is fantastic. I love all the sound design. I think the flare system is awesome. It does promote third partying quite a bit compared to Marathon, which didn't really have that system going on. So I definitely ran into less third parties playing Marathon than I did Arc Raiders. I will say that. Another really big positive of Arc Raiders was just like the fact that we actually got to play the full game, it seems like. I think we got to play with all the weapons. There's crafting, full crafting to some extent. We're able to go on all 3 maps. It's just good. It's just a good time, and it honestly feels extremely polished. It doesn't feel like an alpha. It kind of feels like a tech test at time, because sometimes the server would take a shit, and all of a sudden, like, everybody would start kind of lagging and stuff like that, and the frame rate would get really bad because of like the server connection. But other than that, like, I gotta say, it was extremely smooth. Now, for the comparisons between the two, I will say that I think, like, getting into the next match fast, Marathon was significantly better. It was both because menu systems and also just, like, less cluttered UI, right? Like, there is, like, really nice, like, you can just buy and have your inventory and have crafting, or so on and so forth, like, all right next to each other in Marathon. Whereas in Arc Raiders, you're like jumping between like 3 different menus. You're having to drag it back and forth. The stash system was very limiting in Arc Raiders at times. You can upgrade your stash size, but it often feels like you don't have enough. And yeah, I'm quite a bit of a loot goblin, but still, like, it feels like you often just don't have enough. Another thing that Marathon really had over Arc Raiders is the PvP, in my opinion. Like, the PvP of first person and just like the more fast-paced Marathon. But also, like, at times, like, you have a slower fight in Marathon. I'm not saying you couldn't, but definitely faster engagements and cleaning up a fight faster, and less third-partying because you don't have the flare system. The flare system has its pros and cons. If you guys don't know what I mean, when you knock a player in Arc Raiders, a flare goes into the sky, and everybody within, like, basically the entire map can see it, so they know there's people being knocked over there. Even if you're indoors, like, if you're indoors, the flare just kind of, like, hits the ceiling. But it basically, no matter what, it will always shoot into the sky if you're at a certain distance. It's kind of an interesting system in that regard. Pros and cons, right? Lots of third parties because of it, but also, you know, that it gives you the impression that there's activity on the map. And also, if you're looking for action, that's where you go, right? So that's also nice, because like Marathon, there are times where, like, you just didn't see anyone for a while because, you know, there's not always the loudest stuff going on the map, and people are just kind of playing very passively and, like, getting in and out. Another positive that Marathon had that Arc Raiders didn't was the purple loot was shared across all the teams. So if you looted something really good that was a material for upgrading or for crafting, everybody got it no matter what. So there wasn't this loot goblin situation where, like, you know, one person just looted everything and then got the hell out. And it actually works really well if you solo queue and you have 2 randoms with you. You're not worrying about, like, I need to loot first before them. In Arc Raiders, if you use solo queue, we always had one teammate that just, like, bolted to get the loot, and it was, like, pretty annoying because, like, he's not sharing with us all the time. And you can't really expect him to. He's a random person. Something that Arc Raiders really had, sound design. Sound design was amazing compared to Marathon. It was so good. You can hear every little bit of, like, opening container, running around, looting, reloading, using a stim, using your shield batteries. Like, it's just so good, man. It's just so good. It's really impressive how good it is. And it often felt like I understood where the sounds were coming from for the most part. In Marathon, that was less the case. I think they did a little more muddied sound system to maybe make it, like, harder for you to just, like, pinpoint, and, like, you know, old Call of Duty 4, like, Turtle Beach headset, you basically have wall hacks because you know exactly where they're sitting. So maybe they're trying to go for that. Not sure. Maybe they'll work on it. Something Arc Raiders also had was a better performing game. Marathon on my system was probably around 120 to 140, even if I turned down the graphics. All the way down to 0, I was still getting 120 to 140 on average, sometimes lower, sometimes higher. And then Arc Raiders, I think I only turned 2 settings low, which was, like, the ray tracing, because I don't want ray tracing on. And I turned off post-processing because it adds depth of field. If you're too close to an object, it actually hurts your third-person peeking ability. Yeah, they tried to add something to stop third-person peeking, but you can just kind of turn it off through post-processing. Bit of a weird one, but yeah. In general, though, I think both games are really good. As a complete state right now, Arc Raiders is arguably the better game, obviously, because it's like a complete package. But your mileage may vary as far as like how enjoyable it is as far as third-person peeking. I do suspect that over time, people will get used to third-person peeking, and it will result in people playing slower and slower and slower and sweatier because they're just going to hold angles and wait for you to make a mistake, peeking out a corner, and then they just pre-fire you, and you're going to have like insane reaction time in order to punish them, but they pre-firing you. They will have the faster reaction time. Doesn't matter who you are. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing both. Arcraiders is fantastic. One final thing though that I did not mention is Arcraiders. I'm a bit worried about the monetization. There are battle passes, and you can spend currency, like real life money, to get the currency to buy the battle passes. And then you basically do like challenges to unlock the battle pass. Similar to Helldivers, if you've played Helldivers, very similar to the super credits and medal structure. But the issue here is that the battle passes actually do have power within them. Like you can get purple shields very early on in the game by buying the right battle pass and then doing a couple challenges and you have purple shields. Or you can get armor and so on and so forth. It's not just cosmetics in them, which is a bit eh. Another thing is that you can spend premium currency eventually. I think it's after the fourth upgrade. You start spending premium currency to upgrade your stash size. And as I said earlier, your stash size is like very limiting. So the fact that you can just swipe your credit card to get more stash size, I don't know. We'll have to see, because like obviously I can't spend money on this like alpha tech test yet, but I'm assuming it'll work like that. You can get the currency for free just from playing the game. And it came at a pretty fast pace when I first started playing, and then slowed down really hard after about like 10 hours or so. So we'll see. I kind of need to see if they're going to fine tune that monetization structure. As I said, I really enjoyed it, but we'll have to see like what exactly results in like Marathon after 5 months. Are they going to be improving all that stuff? And Arcraiders, when is it coming out? People were asking me like, when do you think it's coming out? Because we don't know a date yet. As of recording this video, we don't know the date yet. Maybe like after the tech test, they will tell us. But my guess is probably August. It would be really smart for them to jump the gun on Marathon and just come out, blazing. Obviously, everybody is in love with Arcraiders. Rather than Marathon right now. So like if they could just keep that momentum going, I think the game would do really well. Even though I have my concerns about the third person, I think the rest of the game is so strong. I can kind of turn a blind eye to the third person and sometimes the menu systems and just say like, yeah, the game is really fun. So that's my thoughts. I didn't want to keep it too long, so I hope you guys liked the video. Please let me know what you guys think of both games. And please don't just let it dissolve to Marathon trash. Bungie should have made Destiny 3. We get it. You guys have already said it. We get it, dude. Let's just move on, all right? Let's just have a constructive conversation in the comments. Impossible. Or come on by the stream and we can talk about it as well. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye, everybody. Peace.